the custom Art FIBAE 5. Let's talk about it. This was sent to me by a friend from Art FIBAE. This IEM is actually for sale, and he's considering letting it go. So if you are interested, let me know in the YouTube comments or PM me on Discord or Art FIBAE or wherever I'm active, and maybe we can try to work with the owner and figure out a reasonable price. So we are gonna do a normal review of this. I don't want this to read too much like an ad, so let's start talking about the build. I like the clear nature of this IEM, although this is an $1,100 IEM. The build and comfort of this IEM is not bad. It isolates pretty well. I like the clarity of it. It's kind of unique. It's overall a nice overall shape. It does have a nice little lip of the end to hold ear tips in. It doesn't have a wing, so it might fit flat in your ear. There are a few other unique things about this. This particular model has both red and blue on the front of these. So you'll notice the right is on the red, the blue is on the left, and it's a cool, unique design. Here we can see when it was manufactured, which is kind of cool. Here we have some ear tips. Yeah, not so exciting. And here we have the case. And this is all we have. This case is pretty cool. Like, it has really good build quality and feels great in hand. So Jaitis, how does this sound? Okay, look, this sounds pretty good. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you it sounds bad. I could see how people would like this IEM. It has a nice bass shelf, pretty even mids, but a few quirky things in the air and the upper treble that I wanted to talk to you guys about in the graph section. So let's start there. Okay, let's look at the graph of this guy. You'll notice there's a little bit of a channel mismatch. This was also exceptionally hard to graph. Some IEMs are hard to graph, and before you get too uppity on me in the comment section, I will show you another graph of this IEM just to show you kind of what I mean. Again, it has a pretty nice bass shelf, good upper mids, but some weird issues in the treble. So let's kind of go from there. I wanted to show you another IEM, which I kind of think, in some ways these are about the same. In some ways, I think the custom Art FIBAE is better. I like the FIBAE. It has a little bit better of a bass shelf. The Project M is a funny IEM. It just has oodles and oodles of treble. Like, after 6K, it just goes up and has a ton of treble. It just feels like an inordinate amount of sociopathic level treble. Like if you had 3 knobs on an amp and then you just happen to fall over on your treble and it just went whoop, and then all of a sudden you have like oodles of treble. That's kind of how the Project M feels. The custom Art FIBAE doesn't. It kind of has a little bit more of a flow to it. I kind of like it. But I also kind of don't really think it's worth the $1,100 that it was originally sold for. Let's look at a few others. The Theater Oracle, this is one I reviewed on channel, and it's coming up here pretty soon if you haven't already seen it. It's like a fairly recent review. You'll notice the Oracle has really nice even bass. The FIBAE actually has a better bass shelf than the Oracle. But where it differs is this region. This region where I am super sensitive to is just a massive amount of treble and mid-treble and air right here and here. I like the little bit of air here in the FIBAE, but I don't love it. There's some good qualities about it. It is a very unique sound. And one thing about this hobby is it's about finding out what you like and going from there. Me as a YouTuber or a reviewer, I'm not going to recommend you IEMs when I know that you can find something for cheaper. The Theater Oracle can be had on the used market for right around $300 to $350. I think that's a better IEM overall than the FIBAE, but I could see how some might like the FIBAE better because it does have a unique characteristic, a lot like the Project M. Now, this is Precog Vision, Theo, the maker of the Dunu Mirai. And this is his IM, you can tell that like usually we align coupler peaks right around 8K, and this IM kind of doesn't have one, and I kind of wanted to show that to you guys. All right, let's move on. One thing I did want to show you, it has this nice kind of upper peak here. Something I don't really talk about that often is the CKLVX. I really like this IM. This IM sounds really, really good. I mean, it has some faults and some problems, but overall has a really nice tonality and can sometimes be had for, I don't know, 150, 130. And so it's interesting. The CKLVX is something I probably would recommend because it's a little bit more neutral, a little bit more my flavor. But again, some people might want that extra spice, kind of some crazy, funky treble and some things going on. Now the FIBAE is not bad, but it gave me some fatigue and it kind of bothered me. Heck, even the CKLVX did a little bit with this extra little bit of energy as well. So it's just, you know, something I kind of wanted to bring up to you guys. Another one to think about. This is one I don't talk about on channel because I didn't really like it much, but the Dynabird. And you can tell the Dynabird has this ton of extra 5 to 6K energy. I think the Dynabird's kind of like a more standard V, whereas the FIBAE is it's like a neutral with a treble boost, kind of a lot like the Dita Project M. The last slide I wanted to show you is an EQ. Now you can do EQ just by a few buttons here on Squig Link, and that gives you a profile which you can load into a program like PSAPO or even the Quidalix 5K. Now I think this IEM does need EQ. When I put this EQ profile in, it still didn't fix all the issues that I had. Sometimes an EQ profile will fix things, other times it will not. That's just something to note, just something to think about. So for me, it still had some problems and it still felt a little bit too bright. It's hard sometimes to get every single region and all these extra peaks beyond this like 6 to 8K-ish region, depending on who you ask, to really be tamed down and really work for people. So I just kind of wanted to show that to you guys. So how is the FIBAE? I mean, it's not bad for an $1,100 IEM. I expect a lot more. I probably would go with something like the Monarch Mark II, maybe even a used Monarch Mark III. There's a lot of used, really high-end IEMs. I'll sometimes drop to $1,100. So I don't know what a fair price for this IEM would be. My guess would maybe be $400 to $500, but it also kind of depends. I think its bass and mids are pretty good actually, but its highs are really a little bit off. They're not as bad as, say, the Dita Project M for me, but there are some issues with it. I feel like it images well, but not that great. It has nice note wake and slam, but it's not class leading. Like I look at that bass shelf, I'm like, wow, that should be really bassy, and it doesn't have that feeling of being very bassy. It has a nice sound stage, it has a good feeling. It feels at times like an expensive, fancy IEM, and it does have good resolution. Podcasts, vocals all sound right. But again, is this something that I'm going to recommend you guys at this price? It's not. I think there's other options, some of which we've talked about today. And that's kind of my concern with this, is not that I don't like it, I just don't love it to justify this price. So, is this IEM good? It's pretty good. It's not terrible. It fits in that range where I see that people would like it, and people that like colored tonalities, I could see fully enjoying this. It does a lot of things really well. It has a unique shell. It's pretty. It's and you know, in ear, it sits well. It fits well, and it sounds good. Does it sound great enough to justify the price with as many great IEMs that we have out right now today? I don't know. I think at its full MSRP, it's pretty insane. I think there's a lot of better options that I personally would go for, and that's kind of my concern with this IEM. And again, I want to thank my friend from Art FIBAE who knows who they are for sending this out. It's always nice when people share their collection with me. I have a bunch of other IEMs at my desk, and you'll notice me doing a lot of reviews in the next few weeks as I have some time. So if you guys have any questions or concerns, let me know. And thanks for watching to the end. You guys have a great day.
You're still here. It's over. Go home. Go watch another IEM video. It's done. That's the entire video. What more do you want?